And who has been the president since January 20th, 2025?
Donald J. Trump.
Okay. And who was the president in 2024?
One believes President Biden.
One believes? You one of those non-believers that the election, the American people didn't vote?
I am not.
You're not? You said one believes? Do you believe in the Constitution of the United States and it should be abided by?
I believe in the Constitution of the United States.
So you believe in it without any second thought. You don't have to think about it. You believe in it and you would abide by it. Is that correct?
I have and I do, sir.
Okay. But do you know that a president has said he may or may not? He don't know?
Here's the truth. What you just watched wasn't just a congressional hearing. It was a liberal takedown of the Republican Party's reckless game playing and their leader's desperate grab for power. Gregory Meeks didn't just question Scott Bessent. He grilled him. He exposed the lies behind the so-called trade emergency narrative pushed by Trump and his allies. Before we break this down, I want you to hit like if you're tired of politicians lying to you. Comment below on how this kind of power grab affects your life, and subscribe for honest, unfiltered political analysis that doesn't play favorites. Because loving America means telling the truth, even when it's uncomfortable.
Mr. Bassett, I'm just a plain, simple man, the average, everyday American is looking at this hearing today. So can you tell me, first, does trade deficits constitute a national emergency?
The hollowing out of the U.S.
No, just yes or no.
Class,
yes or no. Yes or no.
It's a national emergency, sir.
It does. It does. You're telling me trade deficits equals a national or creates
persistent and prolonged.
Okay,
yes, sir.
And do you know also, sir, that for the last 4 decades, we've had trade deficits in the United States of America, and nobody said it was an emergency? Democratic and Republican presidents? You know what that says to me? That it's not an emergency because it hasn't been for 4 decades. It says to me that we should bring tariffs back to the United States Congress so that we can make that determination as the Constitution has said and not try to go around Congress. That's just unbelievable to me. Let me ask this question. Maybe I missed it. Who was the president and who has been the president since January 20th, 2025?
Donald J. Trump.
Okay. And who was the president in 2024?
One believes President Biden.
One believes? You one of those non-believers that the election, the American people didn't vote?
I am not.
You're not? You said one believes? Do you believe in the Constitution of the United States and it should be abided by?
I believe in the Constitution of the United States.
So you believe in it without any second thought. You don't have to think about it. You believe in it and you would abide by it. Is that correct?
I have and I do, sir.
Okay. But do you know that a president has said he may or may not? He don't know? Let me ask this question. I couldn't believe my ears. Sunday, during NBC's Meet the Press, President Trump credited himself for the strong economy in 2024 when Joe Biden was president, but then he blamed President Biden for a weak economy in 2025 when he was president. Now, I'm not so sure how the American people puts that together. In 2024, strong economy, he tries to take the credit. In 2025, when he's the president, he blames Joe Biden. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't think it makes sense to most Americans. And I hope, Mr. Secretary, you're a businessman, it doesn't make sense to you either. It can't possibly make sense to you. Let me ask this question. If a government, say, look, Argentina, I remember when I came here, and Argentina kept failing to pay its debt. Not once or twice or three times. And we were all upset about it, and we said that they needed a host, somebody needed to take over their government. You know, somebody should help the president of Argentina. If the United States or didn't pay its debt or something like that, we'd be very upset about that if we couldn't pay our debt. I mean, that's one of our focuses. Is that not correct?
Sir, the United States will always meet its debt obligations.
Always. Well, let me ask you this. Donald Trump, the deal maker, and you didn't answer Ms. Velasquez's questions, no deals, although he said 3 weeks ago that there would be deals. But Donald Trump, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times, but 6 times failed to pay his debts on his business and went bankrupt. And you're going to call that a good business, man?
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman's time has expired. The gentlewoman from Missouri, Ms. Wagner, the chair of our subcommittee on capital markets, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Now, let's talk about the real story here. The Republicans, led by Donald Trump, want you to believe the sky is falling because of trade deficits. But here's the kicker. Those trade deficits have been around for decades, not just under Democrats, but under Republicans too. 40 years of trade deficits, and suddenly it's an emergency? That's not a crisis, folks. That's a lie. This is a blatant attempt to centralize power in the hands of the president, bypassing Congress, the very body the Constitution gave authority over tariffs and taxes. And who's leading this charge? The same Republican Party that talks about law and order, but wants to rewrite the rules when it suits them. Gregory Meeks called it out perfectly. This isn't about economics. It's a power grab. It's the constitutional abuse. It's Republicans trying to wield unchecked executive power under the guise of national security. Let me be clear. This kind of authoritarian nonsense is dangerous. It threatens the very foundation of our democracy. Our founders gave Congress the power over tariffs for a reason, to prevent any one leader from acting like a king. But Trump and his allies don't care about that. They want to rule by decree, impose tariffs without oversight, and force Americans to pay the price for their political stunts. And speaking of price, let's talk about who pays for these reckless tariffs. It's not the Chinese government, it's us. These tariffs work like hidden taxes. They raise costs on American importers, manufacturers, and everyday consumers. That means higher prices at the store, less investment in factories, and potential job losses. Republicans want you to think tariffs are a patriotic shield. The truth is, they're a hidden tax on working people. And they're doing it all while claiming to be the champions of the American worker. What a joke. The hypocrisy doesn't stop there. Gregory Meeks also exposed Trump's economic flip-flop. Trump took credit for the booming 2024 economy under Biden's presidency. But now that Trump's in office and the economy is struggling in 2025, he blames Biden. This is textbook Republican gaslighting. You can't take credit for last year's successes and dump blame on your predecessor the minute things go wrong. That's not leadership. That's a con. It's the same con Republicans have been running on for years. Take credit when convenient, dodge responsibility when it's not. And Meeks went right for the jugular when he reminded everyone of Trump's 6 bankruptcies. 6. That's not the mark of a savvy businessman. It's the mark of someone who gambles recklessly and leaves creditors, workers, and taxpayers to clean up the mess. Yet Republicans still worship him like a golden god. Meanwhile, ordinary Americans pay the price for his failed deals and bankruptcies through job losses and economic instability. This isn't capitalism. It's cronyism. It's a scam wrapped in red, white, and blue. And it's hurting us all. The takeaway here is simple. Republicans and Trump want to rewrite the rules to suit themselves. They want to impose tariffs without congressional oversight, hike costs on consumers, and avoid accountability for the economy they claim to run. Gregory Meeks showed us the alternative, a constitutional, fact-based approach that respects democratic processes and prioritizes long-term economic health. Meeks made it clear tariffs should be targeted, time-limited, and justified by real national security needs, not political theater. Plus, the best way to build a strong economy isn't with reckless tariffs. It's with smart domestic investments, training workers, fixing infrastructure, reforming permits, and creating an environment where manufacturers want to build here, not just pay lip service to America first while shipping jobs overseas. Republicans talk a big game about strength and security, but their policies say otherwise. They create uncertainty, confusion, and chaos. They spin stories one day and rewrite them the next, eroding trust in our institutions and damaging the economy. This is the cost of Republican rule. Unpredictability, higher prices, job insecurity, and a president who can't even keep his story straight. And if you think this only hurts some people, think again. Tariffs compound costs through supply chains. That means small businesses face higher input prices, workers face layoffs or wage stagnation, and families face pricier essentials. It's all connected, and Republicans are ignoring it because they care more about their own power than people's lives. So here's the question every American needs to ask. Do we want a democracy where Congress leads, accountability rules, and economic policy is transparent? Or do we want a country where a single man uses emergencies to bypass the law, rig the system, and make working people pay the price? If you're with me, and if you believe in real democracy and economic justice, then it's time to push back against this Republican power grab. Gregory Meeks's questioning was a reminder that patriots come in all political colors. But true patriotism means defending the Constitution against abuse, regardless of who's in the White House. So if you're tired of Republican lies, hypocrisy, and economic recklessness, drop a comment below. Tell me how tariffs and Trump's power grabs have affected you, your family, or your business. We need to amplify real voices, not just political spin. If this video helped you see through the Republican smokescreen, hit that like button and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives that hold power accountable, because the fight for America's soul isn't over. We don't need more broken promises or authoritarian shortcuts. We need democracy. We need accountability. We need truth. That's the liberal patriots' promise. That's the America we fight for.